Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Hydra. This is actually the first week after the Shamal nerf. So a lot of things has changed. Mainly in this video, I'm talking about the issues I'm having with Hydra. And but first, let me quickly show you guys, give you guys an overview about the Hydra clan boss in our clan. So as you guys might know, I'm in a super endgame clan. Most of people in my clan are whales. So after the Shamal nerf, there are still players able to one-key Nightmare Hydra without Shamal, a team like this. I think this is the best team you can have currently if you don't have a Shamal. But if you want to one-key it, I think this guy, he puts the best gear on his account to these 6 champions, and you will need to get very good RNG to be able to one-key it. And if you want to use Shamal team is still usable 100%. And here I am. I used the Shamal team. I was able to do around 20 million damage with this team. So if you have Shamal, you can definitely still use Shamal. It should be 2-key easily. But I don't know if anyone can 1-key Nightmare with the Shamal team. Obviously, the Mastery got Deterrence, got a big hit. But yeah, that's just a current overview. And next, mainly in this video, I want to talk about the issues I'm having with Hydra clan boss, and I want to explain to you guys why Hydra became my least enjoyable content in this game. So let's get into it. Alright, so even though I was able to 2-key the Nightmare difficulty, it really took me a very long time to do it, and I have to manual everything. I think you guys know that for Hydra, you have to manual everything. There's no auto team exist. If you auto it, you probably can do 5 million, and that's it. And it's really an unenjoyable experience for me that I have to spend like 3-4 hours during the weekend to manual everything. And the first thing that makes me feel really bad is the champion requirement rule that player makes. I think I've talked about it in my previous video. Basically, if you have used this champion, you're not allowed to use it again. And if you have dupes, you can still use that champion. I think this rule makes no sense at all. And I think this rule is the first thing in the game that actually makes me feel disgusting. Like, this is completely unacceptable and really disgusting. If they want to push diversity into Hydra strategies, they should apply this rule to duplicate champion as well. Because if someone is a super well and have 3 copies of the best champion, the best Hydra champion, let's say like this team, right? If the guy have 3 copies of these champions, they will just remove the gear and put it on their duplicates, right? So what's the point of making this rule if you want to push diversity? For the super whales, it just wastes 3 minutes of their time, and for our average players, it just makes them feel sick. I think this rule is completely nonsense. And I think I even saw comments from my previous Hydra videos that people are saying that I'm saying this just because I don't have 3 Shamals. Let's see who's crying now. This is the best Hydra team currently in the game. Do you have 3 copies of these champions? Alright, if you do and you agree with the decision player made, I think the only reason you're happy about this rule is because other people can't do well and you feel privileged. I think that's the only reason if you're agreeing with this. Okay, so I think this champion requirement stuff is completely dog shit. I think they should just let player use whatever champion they want, no matter how many times they use it, or just apply this rule to duplicates. If you have used this champion, you should not be allowed to use duplicates as well. And the second thing I want to talk about is the RNG stuff in Hydra clan boss. I think the RNG in this game has really gone too far, and including our new beloved Hydra. So the first RNG stuff that I really hate is that if you kill one of these heads, a new head will spawn, but you do not know which head is gonna spawn. And I think in terms of difficulty, like these heads are not similar. There are a couple heads are super difficult and the ones are relatively easier. I think the most difficult one is the Wrath Hydra head, because that head deals crazy amount of damage. That could one-shot your team. Like, people are just hoping for Wrath head not to spawn. They can make the random head to spawn, but like they can make something like maybe put some information here to tell player, if you kill this head, what's the next head gonna spawn? Just put something here. I think this is definitely doable, because the moment you click enter battle, everything is already decided. It's the game coding. It's not like after you kill one of the heads, then the system will decide which head to spawn. It's not like that. The moment you enter the fight, everything is set up. So I think they should really just put some information here, tell player which head is going to spawn. Alright, next, the RNG stuff that I really hate is the Devour mechanic. So we can see here, one of my champion has a buff called Mark of Hydra. So after these Hydra heads takes 16 turns in total, the head that takes the turn after that is going to devour this champion. So this might be a very interesting mechanic, but the problem is you really don't know which head is going to devour your champion. Alright, maybe you can kind of tell from their turn meters, but maybe you put some decreased speed stuff on the Hydra heads, it just messes up their turn order. You really can predict which head is gonna devour your champion. And if this green affinity head devours your champion, 75% of chance this head is gonna redirect and attack onto other heads. So if this head devours your champion, if you don't have enough damage, your team will die. So I really hate this. Maybe I don't know how to make this better, but I really don't like the fact that you don't know which head is gonna devour your champion. And if you're very unlucky, this head devours your champion, you have a high possibility to lose the fight. Maybe they should just change the mechanic of this head. Like, nobody is gonna build a Hydra team around Hex. It's not gonna happen. There's no top tier Hex champion in this game. If they want people to actually use Hex champion, bring Hex champion to the Hydra, at least make some top tier Hex champion, epic Hex champion, right? Currently, I just don't see any reason to bring a Hex champion. And so like, this RNG stuff just makes me feel like Platinum Arena, you win the fight because you're lucky, not because you're actually good at the game. That's Platinum Arena. Now they're doing this again in Hydra. So maybe you can see someone one key it. It takes hours of trying, hoping to get the good RNG. And next I want to talk about overpowered mechanic for Hydra. Like, there are definitely overpowered mechanics for this new clan boss, but like, I just wanted to talk about two of them that I feel like that is most overpowered. The first is obviously everybody's favorite, the fear stuff, right? Especially if you're using Shamal team, you must be loving it. But let's be honest, let's be real, this is overpowered. They should just change this to be the fear can be blocked. I'm okay with this cannot be resisted, so this way Shamal team still works. And just make this debuff can be blocked. It just makes other team a little bit easier. This is not the most broken thing about Hydra. There's another mechanic in Hydra that I feel is completely broken. It's not from these four heads. I think it's from one of the heads after you decapitate these heads, a new head will spawn. One of these heads are going to put a skill called Poison Cloud. I think Poison Cloud is the most broken stuff in this game. Completely broken. So I think one of the heads had a skill 5 turns cooldown, can put up Poison Cloud for 2 turns. I know most people most players in this game might not get there yet. I'm just telling you guys, right? So if the heads have Poison Cloud buff, it cannot be removed. Every hit you're going to do to them will be a weak hit, unless you have HP burn. So, but the thing is, like, if you weak hit all these heads, how are you supposed to put HP burn on these heads, right? So it's not really gonna happen. Basically, you're going to wait for these heads to take their 2 turns, so that buff drop, you can do the fight. I think that's completely broken, especially if this Poison Cloud buff overlapping with Devour, it's over. Like, I've seen it many times. If the Devour happens during the Poison Cloud, that you will lose that champion 100%. And there's really no way to counter Poison Cloud unless you use Affinity Breaker set, which is probably one of the worst set in the game. Nobody uses. Maybe they designed this mechanic so people can use Affinity Breaker set, but this is not gonna happen. Affinity Breaker is just so shit. And I think maybe they can just nerf that to be like 1 turn duration, because right now 2 turns duration of Poison Cloud, it is way too OP. And then let me talk about a couple small issues I'm having with Hydra. I think most of raid players haven't done Nightmare difficulty yet. And if you guys don't know, the accuracy requirement for Nightmare difficulty is 400. That's the first thing. I think this 400 accuracy requirement is really overtuned, because our player will confirm this is just stage 1 of Hydra, and in year 2022 they're going to add 2 more difficulties, and this Nightmare difficulty already requires 400 accuracy, which the classic clan boss, the Ultra Nightmare difficulty, only requires 250. I think 400 is really overtuned. For my gear level, if I don't use any accuracy set, it's really hard to get to 400 accuracy. It's really hard. And if you have 400 accuracy, you basically have 95% chance to land debuffs. Maybe they should nerf this number a little bit, make it like 300 or 350. But right now I think 400 is really difficult for most of players. Okay. And next I want to talk about a forgotten mechanic we often use in classic clan boss. That is Poison Champion. I think Poison Champion used to be so good in PvE content. Dungeons, clan boss, right? Even Doom Tower. But right now Poison Champion is completely unusable in Hydra. I think that makes no sense. I think Poison Champions, they are designed to be PvE focused. They're designed to be a very good clan boss champion and dungeon champion. But on Hydra, I think they just takes 75% reduced poison damage, something like that. It just makes Poison Champion unusable. Probably I'll give them like 1 out of 5 in Hydra. Any champion that can place poison, because poison just does no damage at all in Nightmare. And the enemy max HP champion is like 10 times better than Poison Champion. I think they should definitely do something to make Poison Champion more relevant to Hydra. And yeah, I think besides all this, I want to talk. The last thing I'm going to talk about is not really about Hydra. So, but I think that can make the game much better if they do that. That is, if we take a look at the teams here, we notice that all these whales, they have empowered their legendaries, but not epics, because Playroom does not allow us to empower epics. And meanwhile, there are a lot of good epic Hydra champions in the game. So, lastly, the thing I want to say is they should really allow people to empower epics. I would really like to see that happen. Maybe not to +4, at least let player to +3 their epic. Because I think they designed these mechanics and number tuning based on the Faction Guardian, and they expect people to empower their champion to get stronger and stronger, but we cannot empower our epics. I think that's really an issue. There's no reason they're not allowing it. So yeah, I really hope to see they allow player to empower epics at least to +3. And yes, I guess that's all I'm gonna talk about today. I just have the feeling that maybe I feel this way because I'm bad at this game. It's possible, but like, I just don't want to spend 3-4 hours a week manualing it. It's just a big time waster. But in the meantime, I feel like if I don't do this, I'm gonna get left behind because I compete in arena, right? So currently, I just don't really enjoy this. Like every week I start to do this, at least this week, I feel like, why do I have to do this again? Like it's not something I want to do. It feels like a little bit torturing. Like if you really want to spend a couple hours a day doing this, that's good for you. But like I feel like most of the players in this game, they don't want to spend 3-4 hours a week manualing it. So I hope Plarium really can do something about it. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.